Let's get right into it. Psychology says people who have no friends are often misunderstood. They're not broken, antisocial, cold, or failures in life. In many cases, their brain simply works differently. Their inner world is deeper, their emotional energy is more limited, and their standards for connection are higher than average. And if you've ever gone months or even years without close friends, the reasons behind it aren't weaknesses. They're patterns that psychologists understand very clearly. The first big reason is higher standards for connection. People who don't have many friends usually aren't avoiding relationships. They're avoiding meaningless ones. They don't want shallow conversations, fake smiles, gossip, competition, or low-effort connection. Psychology shows that individuals with deeper thinking styles prefer relationships where conversations feel real, minds connect, and presence feels natural. For them, surface-level interactions feel empty and draining. So instead of forcing themselves to fit in, they wait. They stay alone until they find the kind of connection that feels real instead of convenient. And to the outside world, this looks like isolation. But in truth, it's protection. Reason number 2. Their brain needs more recovery time. Some people naturally have a more sensitive nervous system. Socializing drains them more quickly than others. This is called high social sensitivity. When they interact with people, their brain burns mental energy processing tone, expression, expectations, social norms, and emotional signals. For others, conversations are just conversations. For them, conversations are data, layered, complex, overwhelming. So when they go long periods without friends, it's not because they dislike people. Their brain simply requires more quiet time than the average person. Solitude is how they reset. The third reason is strong self-sufficiency. Many people with no friends don't rely on external validation to feel good about themselves. Psychologists call this low social dependency. They don't need approval, likes, reassurance, or constant interaction to feel whole. They entertain themselves. They solve their own problems. They find comfort inside their own mind. While other people depend on their social circle to stay stable, these individuals build their own emotional world. And sometimes, that world is more peaceful and more fulfilling than any group can offer. The fourth reason is something deeper. Past experiences shaped their trust threshold. Most people who walk alone for long periods have been hurt before. Maybe it was betrayal, childhood neglect, being misunderstood, being used, or being surrounded by the wrong people for years. Once trust breaks, the brain becomes cautious, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Psychology shows that after emotional wounds, people become more selective, more careful about who they let in, more aware of what they deserve. It doesn't mean they can't form friendships. It means they won't settle for the wrong ones. And the fifth reason, maybe the most important, is a deeper inner world. Psychologists say people who spend long periods alone usually have qualities others don't see. A richer imagination, sharper intuition, more self-awareness, more depth, more internal clarity. They think more, They observe more, they feel more, and that level of depth can make regular social circles feel unrelatable. Let's continue. One of the strongest reasons people end up with no friends is simply this: their inner world is more alive than the world around them. When your thoughts, ideas, and imagination feel rich and meaningful, the noise of casual socializing can feel unnecessary. These individuals don't need stimulation from the outside because their mind already gives them everything they need. And here's something psychologists repeat all the time. People with deeper inner lives often walk alone because few can match their wavelength. Not everyone thinks as deeply, questions as much, or perceives emotional details as clearly. So conversations that feel normal to others often feel shallow or unfulfilling to them. They're not uninterested in friendship. They just haven't met the right frequency yet. Another pattern is that people with few or no friends tend to be more observant than expressive. They listen more than they talk. They notice more than they reveal. They think before they speak. And in a world where many people talk loudly but listen poorly, thoughtful individuals often stand out as quiet or distant. But they're not cold. They're selective. They reveal themselves only to people who feel safe, genuine, and emotionally mature. Psychology also shows that people with no friends often have a different emotional rhythm. They don't bond instantly. They take time to warm up. They build trust slowly, layer by layer. This can make them appear closed off at first, but once they trust someone, they become incredibly loyal, supportive, and deeply connected. They just don't rush into relationships because they understand how much energy real connection requires. Another reason relates to identity strength. People with strong sense of self often struggle to form friendships with those who rely on trends, groupthink, or conformity. While others follow the crowd, these individuals follow their own mind. This independence can unintentionally separate them from people who need group belonging to feel secure. And here's something many people never consider. Some individuals simply don't have friends because they're growing faster than their environment. When you evolve emotionally or intellectually, you naturally outgrow old circles. Old conversations don't fit you anymore. Old personalities don't align with your values. And instead of shrinking yourself to stay, you move forward, even if it means walking alone for a while. But let's talk about the most misunderstood truth of all. Being alone doesn't mean being lonely. Psychologists make a clear distinction between solitude and isolation. Solitude is chosen. Isolation is forced. People with no friends often choose solitude because it's peaceful, predictable, and authentic. They feel more at home in their own company than in a room full of people who don't understand them. And if you recognize yourself in these patterns, here's the encouraging part. There is nothing wrong with you. Your mind simply functions differently, with more sensitivity, more depth, more awareness, and higher standards. People like this tend to form friendships later in life, but when they do, the connections are incredibly strong and meaningful. They may not have many people, but the few they let in, those relationships last. So if you've gone long periods without friends, it doesn't mean you're broken or unlovable. It means you're selective. It means you're discerning. It means you're aligned with depth, not noise. And sometimes, the people with the strongest minds walk alone for a while. Not because they're lost, but because the world hasn't caught up to them yet. If you want more psychology videos that explain your personality in ways school never taught you, hit subscribe, because the next video might reveal something about yourself that you've never realized.